What's up, everyone? Welcome to the 163rd edition of the Sports Reality. My name is Jeremy John, aka the fourth greatest Grenadian of all time.
Perfect.
Aka the Lil Wayne of podcasts, because I will get on any podcast and hit it with the J Train.
Perfect.
Let's welcome my co-host, Cousin BigThad, aka the gatekeeper of the DMV.
Perfect.
Big facts.
Aka the unofficial mayor of Prince George's County.
Perfect.
What's
Big
going
facts.
on, man?
I'm good, I guess. I'm good. It's been kind of wild so far this week.
What's that supposed to mean?
So I do. I run karaoke on Wednesdays, right?
Uh-huh.
So one of my boys that's worked there, he's going off to Africa. He's going back to Africa for a month
Okay.
because his grandmother passed, so they're going back and whatnot. So he was off last night and was drinking. You know what I mean?
Uh-huh.
So I'm running karaoke and everything. Everything's good. Next thing you know, it seemed like every 10 minutes there was drinks coming to me,
Coming to you.
coming to me,
Uh-huh.
and I wasn't turning them down. You know what I mean?
Uh-huh.
Wasn't turning them down. So by the end of the night, I'm packing up and everything. And I'm like, man, I'm a little turned up right now. You know what I'm saying? I'm like, all right. So I go walk to my truck. You know what I mean? And my truck is in the parking garage. So I get up to that joint. I said, I'm gonna pay for my parking when I drive down.
Mm-hmm.
Before leaving out, right? Son, I never left out of that joint until like 6 o'clock this morning.
Oh, man. Well, I mean, at least you did the responsible thing.
Right. That was my thing. Like when I woke up, I was like, man, wow, I'm definitely not at home. But yeah, I never left the spot. You know what I'm saying? Never left the spot. It's like as soon as I put myself in the truck, I sat down, and that was it. You know what I'm saying? Like, I wasn't going nowhere. You know what I mean? But, man, woke up. I think I got home at, like, 6:45 this morning. And, of course, work at 7 a.m. And I'm just like, yeah. It got a little wild last night. Think that's the first time since the start of the pandemic that I've been that lit, you know what I mean? But it was a good night though, you know what I'm saying? Karaoke went
But I
well.
wanted to do hood rat stuff with my friend.
Of course, you know what I'm saying? So yeah, it was kind of wild last night, you know what I mean?
Yeah, man. I've heard that from some people where they're like, yeah, man, first time back out, and it just hit them differently.
Look, now don't get me wrong. Like most karaoke nights I'm drinking, you know what I'm saying?
Uh-huh.
But last night I went a little hard, you know what I'm saying? I went a little hard. And I paid for it. You know what I'm saying? I paid for it. I was like, I never made it home. You know what I'm saying? But I was doing the safe thing and then drive. So
Hey, man, that's the important thing.
that's the only thing that matters right there.
Mhm.
I mean, look, I'm telling you, when I got to my truck and opened the door, I literally was like, there's no way I'm driving home, son. Like, there's literally no way I'm driving home. Like, even if the liquor courage was there to be like, nah, I can make it home. You know what I'm saying? I'm a little buzzed, you know what I'm saying? But I can still make it home.
Like
'Cause
they
I
say.
know I could drive straight and be fine. You know what I'm saying? But nah, dog. I literally was like, it's not happening, bro. Yep. You're going to sleep right here.
Hey, man, at least you did the responsible thing after the fact.
Yeah. I'm just glad I was in the parking garage and not on the street.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying? That would have been a whole nother. If I was on the street, I was driving home, son. You know what I'm saying? There's no way. There's no way, dog. There's no way I'm going to be passed out in my truck on the street
In Baltimore.
in Baltimore. It's not going to happen, bro. Parking garage, okay. You know what I'm saying? At least I know you ain't going nowhere, and I ain't going nowhere. You know what I'm saying? But nah, dog, nah.
So, how did work go?
Oh, work went fine. You know what I'm saying? Work went fine. You know what I'm saying? Like I literally woke up and I was sober. So I was good. You know what I'm saying? When I woke up and drove home sober. You know what I'm saying? But no hangover, no nothing. I was like, oh, okay. At 40? Yeah. All right.
Oh man. We're gonna talk a little bit about alcohol later.
Oh.
In this episode.
Okay.
It'll be something in the sports free zone. But before we get to that, man, I went to the driving range today.
Oh, you did? Oh, you finally did it? Okay.
Yeah, man.
Okay.
Went there. Was there for about almost 2 hours, man. Just trying to practice. This is the thing. Since it was literally my first time outside of Top Golf.
Okay.
I mean, my swing, the problem was just I was just inconsistent with my swing.
I got you.
Yeah, so I would hit the ball and it'll go pretty far and fairly accurate. And then I'll go like 3-4 golf balls and I'm like barely hitting it. and then I'll get a real decent swing and then like 5 or 6 bad swings. Right. But let me tell you this, when I hit it really well, that thing traveled. Definitely went airborne, definitely went 200 yards. So so I have the potential.
Yeah.
Potential is there for a good swing. I met two gentlemen there. One by the name of David. He was like, "Hey, you need help with your swing?" I was like, "Yes." He was like, "Well, I'm not trying to overstep." I was like, "No, this is my first time." He's like, "Oh, for real?" I said, "Yes." I said, "So I'm taking all tips." Gave me a tip on how to actually hold the golf club, and it actually felt more comfortable. Then I met another dude named Tim, who was like, "Yeah, man, it's your first time." And he's like, "Yeah." I said, "Yes." And he was like, "Yeah, try this." And it was like, "Okay, that feels good too." He's like, "Yeah, just practice it." To the point that he gave me an item. Like he showed me, he actually had it in his golf bag, in his clubs. And he was like, "Hey, use this real quick." He said, "See how it feels." He's like, "When you do it this way, how it feels heavy." He's like, "You want to basically use it where it doesn't feel heavy anymore." He's like, "It's one of the practice clubs that basically have like a weight at the end of it." Okay. He's like, "You don't ever want to swing where it feels like it's pulling you." He said, "You want to swing back and it be smooth and then it's smooth forward." So he told me where he got it from. Went on Amazon, and I should be getting one in less than a week. Yep. So,
okay. So you serious about this?
Yeah, man. And it felt good just to be out there and do something.
Yeah. I mean, you could just talk to your uncle. You know what I'm saying?
And you know what? Yes, I could. I actually spoke to one of my other uncles, Uncle Alvin, over the weekend.
I saw him.
I actually saw him.
Alvin plays with my dad.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So, yeah.
I actually saw him. So we were talking about golf. So I said, "Nah, man, I got to go this week." And I had some time today. So I just said, "Man, it's time to do it. It's time to do it." Thad, how's my audio levels? Do I sound good?
Yeah, you sound all right.
All right. Just want to make sure I'm not clipping or anything. But yes, I am going to make this a weekly thing. And if possible, try and go twice a week.
Okay.
Yeah, because I'm trying to get on an actual course and play with people that I know. That's what I'm trying to do. So I need to speed up the practice process, speed it up in a way so I can actually get out there soon, but still learn the right way to do things.
Right. No, I got you.
Yep. So yeah, that is what I did this week. We got a lot to get into for this week's episode, and actually, let me do this way. We're going to recap the NBA playoffs, the second round of the NBA playoffs, and the conference finals that are currently going on. We're also going to talk about Carl Nassib coming out as the first active NFL player to come out as gay. We'll get into that. MLB's first week with the new rule for pitchers and foreign substances. We're going to talk about Juneteenth's Ikea's Juneteenth menu.
Yeah.
This was the part where I said we were going to talk about alcohol. We're going to talk about J'Ouvert Rum. And our Reddit topic of the week, NBA championship underdogs. We're going to look at underdogs and what their odds were going into the season and talk about those who actually won doing that. So just want to remind you all to subscribe to the podcast where podcasts are available. That includes Anchor, Apple, iHeart, Radio, Spotify, Stitcher, TuneIn. If you're watching us right now on YouTube, Facebook, and Twitch, you can subscribe on any of those social media platforms. Make sure you subscribe, hit the like button, leave a review. Also, let those other people that you know that like sports and pop culture, let them know about the podcast. Pass the word, share it with them so we could grow and definitely reach more people. Let's get right into it. The NBA, BigThad. Let's start in the second round of where we left off last week. Western Conference semifinals. The Clippers versus the Jazz. Game 6 was last Friday. The Jazz went up by 25 points in the first half and squandered that lead to the Los Angeles Clippers. Doesn't it look like doesn't that sound like something the Clippers would have done?
Yeah, and Philly. You know what I'm saying?
So the Clippers come back with Terrence Mann going off for 40 points.
Yeah, I was like, what? Who is this? And I was like, oh, I guess playoff P and playoff P right now. It's playoff T right now. You know what I'm saying? Doing his thing.
Terrence Mann did that in the absence of Kawhi Leonard, who is still out. Yeah. They're saying Kawhi Leonard had a ACL sprain, or let me not say they. That's what NBA insiders are saying. It's not clear what he has because the team hasn't really.
Yeah, because I think at one point they said it was like a knee sprain, and then it was something else, but then other people were saying ACL, and I'm like, I'm gonna just listen to Shams and
Woj.
Woj. Yeah, if they say something, then you know it's for real.
So they're saying it's day to day, but then it's like, well, not really sure what's going on with the injury. So Kawhi Leonard is out. We'll get into more of the Los Angeles Clippers, but they did defeat the Utah Jazz. Donovan Mitchell played good. However, there were moments in the entire series where you do expect him, if he's going to be the best player on the team. And look, I understand he's young. I think this is year 3. I understand he's young, but you or year 4, if you're going to be the lead guy, if you're going to be the all-star, the perennial all-star, there's times where you're going to have to take it up a notch. And unfortunately, there were some times he fell short. But for the Utah Jazz, the one player that really fell short was Rudy Gobert.
Yeah.
Rudy Gobert was getting guarded by Terrence Mann. and who else was checking him? Luke Kennard, long stretches of the game, and he just couldn't do anything offensively. And when I say couldn't do anything offensively, he didn't mentally realize that, look who's on me.
Right.
I need to go down low, at least get some offensive rebounds, or I need to go down low and
just dominate against those smaller dudes.
Yeah, dominate, or I need to set the screen and roll to the basket and be ready. He was very passive, and then he got dunked on like 3 straight games. Like 3 straight games had posters on it. So yeah, Rudy Gobert definitely took a hit in that series. Let's move on to the Eastern Conference, the Eastern semis between the Bucks and the Nets. The Nets they got upset by the Bucks in 7 games. Last week when we came on a week ago, we were just coming off of the Kevin Durant 50 or 49-point triple-double.
Right.
And it was not looking good for the Bucks.
No.
And even though we knew that the Bucks were going home for game 6, it wasn't looking good because James Harden didn't play well in game 5.
I mean, he was just coming back off of that, whatever. So we didn't expect him to be like great or anything like that. No.
So he was coming off the injury, but you're expecting, okay, one more, a couple more days, he should definitely be better.
Right.
That's what we're thinking.
Right.
And then you have, just the fact that the Bucks really struggled in that game.
Yeah.
They struggled in that game. So you're definitely like, oh, the Nets have it. Like they're definitely going to do it.
Like they should. Yeah, for sure.
And then game 6 happens. And we're like, okay, Bucks get that home court cooking right there.
Right.
They won that game, and actually it was pretty close most of the game.
Yeah.
And then, the Bucks pulled away. So then we get to game 7 last Saturday. Back in Brooklyn. Kevin Durant goes off again.
Yeah.
Playing well. James Harden steps up. Blake Griffin steps up.
Right.
But that was pretty much it. And it was Kevin Durant that was really making noise out there. Kevin Durant, Nets are down by 2 points. Set the stage here. Nets are down by 2 points. They have a chance to tie or win the game. And of course, who do you think is going to get the ball, BigThad?
You got to give it to Durant. Got to. You ain't going to give it to a hurt Harden. You know what I'm saying? Like, yeah, KD it is.
KD gets the ball and hits a shot that everyone thinks initially is going to be a game-winning shot, but his foot is right on the line. And actually, both feet are right on the line. It does go in. Ultimately, go to overtime. PJ Tucker fouls out in overtime. And you're like, okay. I'm sitting there like, Giannis needs to check Kevin Durant in this overtime. It's 5 minutes.
Right.
Do you think he checked him?
Nah. Nah.
Not at all.
Because, you know what? And see, the thing is, I understand he should because, reigning defensive player of the year. You know what I'm saying? But I did notice a lot in this series when he did check KD would just make him look very bad on the court. You know what I'm saying? Like, to the point where I'm like, yo, Giannis about to fall over. You know what I'm saying? So I was like, I kind of understand it.
Nah, man. I look.
But he should. You know what I'm saying?
You should. Especially if you're trying to say you want to be the best in the game. You need to be out there trying to guard Kevin Durant, especially once the main defender fouls out because they're guarding him for so long.
Right.
But the Bucks, ultimately overtime starts. Bruce Brown gets the layup. First bucket. They're up by 2. They go back and forth on possessions with no one scoring. Then Giannis gets a jump hook on Kevin Durant. A jump hook that bounced on that rim so many times, but it goes in. Mm-hmm. And then it's defensive struggle. Back and forth. until Chris Milton hits a pull-up jumper, mid-range jumper to go up. So now the Nets are back down by 2, and they have to go to who everyone already knows this ball is going to. Goes to Kevin Durant. And let's just say Kevin Durant came up a little short. How short, BigThad, did he come?
Short. Real short. Yeah. Didn't look like he was from the DMV right there. But I understand. It's overtime.
It's an evil world we live in.
Look at that. Who was that guarding him?
Drew Holiday.
Oh.
Drew Holiday.
Oh, yeah.
Who's a good defender.
Yeah.
He's a good defender.
All NBA defense.
In the whole time when this happened, I'm still like, where is Giannis?
Right.
The whole time. I'm like, where is Giannis?
Yeah.
But hey, if I would have really got on Giannis if
Katie made it.
If Katie hit that shot.
Yeah.
I would have for sure got on him if Katie made that shot. I'm like, yeah, you let Drew Holiday guard him down at the stretch.
Right.
Like, come on, dude. But the Bucks ultimately win. They move on to the next round, staying in the Eastern Conference semifinals. The Hawks Philadelphia 76ers series goes to 7 games. Hawks are struggling early, but then the Red Rifle, what are some nicknames for our guy from University of Maryland?
I don't got no nicknames for him, man.
You don't got no. I was thinking the Red Rifle, the
Hoarder.
Yeah, Kevin Herter. Look, I remember seeing him at Maryland. I'm like, okay, he's good.
Right.
He's a good college player.
Right.
And even when I studied here and he could go in the first round, I'm like, huh? Like, I know he's good, but he go in the first round and he ends up going, I think he was a lottery pick.
Yeah,
and I'm like, okay.
Yeah.
And he's had a decent NBA career so far. It's year 3.
Yeah.
But he's really come on the scene, especially in this postseason.
Oh yeah.
The first thing, people are so lazy with comparisons. First player they want to compare Kevin Herter to is guess who?
Not Larry Bird, right?
No. That would have been really lazy. But Tyler Hero. They want to compare him to Tyler Hero. And I'm like, well, hold on.
Wow.
Kevin Herter's better than Tyler Hero.
Wow. They're going to disrespect that man like that?
And then, Trae Young starts off really slow, but he gets hot in that fourth quarter.
Right.
And they end up taking the lead. And here we go again. Game at home, game 7 this time. 76ers need to do something.
Yeah.
They squander the lead. Squander the lead again. And they need to do something. And they go to Ben Simmons on one play.
Oh, man. You're not going to show that, are you?
Yes, I am. Ben Simmons on this specific play is back down.
Look at that.
And decides to pass it to Matisse Thybulle after he gets past Danilo Gallinari.
All he had to do was dunk it.
And Joel Embiid is talking to him like, yo, what's going on? What's going on? And look at this move right here. Boom. Boom. He's open. It's only Trae Young. And then he passes it to Matisse Thybulle, who was double teamed.
Yeah. I mean, the only good thing you could say about it is that he got the foul. You know what I'm saying? That's the only thing. And it almost wasn't a foul call on that. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
Wow. It's psychological, yo. It's big time psychological.
We spoke about it last week. We said how Ben Simmons is very basically non-existent in the fourth quarter. Well, he had 2 more fourth quarters in game 6 and game 7 where he attempted 0 field goals in the fourth quarter. Game on the line. It was so bad that after the game, of course, the reporters asked head coach Doc Rivers about, the future with Ben Simmons, and Doc Rivers did not sugarcoat anything.
Nah.
Doc Rivers said, I'm really not sure.
Right.
I'm really not sure.
Was that the one with the reporter asking if you could see is Ben can be a point guard on a championship caliber team?
Uh-huh.
I don't know. I don't know. I don't know how to answer that right now. I'm like, ooh.
Even Joel Embiid was like, well, I did what I had to do. Right. And he said, we can't be, I'm a paraphrase. He basically said, like, yeah, I mean, when you got players passing out of situations when they're open, that will mess you up. Yikes. So,
I don't get it, man. I don't get it because, I tagged you in that video of Ben, and
I remember that video.
That shot, nothing seemed bad about his jumper.
I remember that from this summer. Everyone was like, "Oh, Ben Simmons is going to come in this season and start shooting." Yeah. And I remember saying on Twitter, "Yeah, he's playing against people who aren't in the league." So that confidence is just booming in a high school gym.
Yeah.
He's not in the NBA arena against NBA players.
Yeah, but it's still fundamentals, bro. You know what I'm saying? Even if your shot gets blocked, it's the fundamentals were there, and I just don't understand it.
Don't understand it. Like you said, it's all mental for Ben Simmons. And it's gotten so bad that over the weekend in Chicago at the scouting combine, Rich Paul was there.
Yeah.
Rich Paul's his agent, lead agent of Clutch Sports. And there's already talks, according to Wojnarowski, that Ben Simmons might actually be on the move. So that's a real possibility.
Oh, yeah, it's definitely a possibility. There's no doubt about it, especially what has happened. And it's just this playoffs alone. You know what I'm saying? How could you not think about moving them after that? Because obviously something's wrong with them. But then again, this has been the process for Philly. You know what I'm saying? with injuries to guards or just whatever other stuff going on with these guards, man. It's just crazy.
The process.
Like, are y'all going to keep calling it the process? You know what I'm saying? Is that what's next? I mean, is it still the process?
Trust the process.
Is it the process until you win the championship? That's all I want to know.
Look, I hate to say it. The process is backfired, and this is not hyperbole. I mean, ultimately, what came out of it? You got out the first round twice so far and lost. Each time you got out the first round, you lost in a fashion that was just terrible.
Right.
When you got to the second round 2 years ago, you lost to the Celtics 4-1. Wasn't even close.
Yeah.
Or 3 years ago. I'm sorry.
3 years ago. Yeah.
2 years ago, you did lose game 7 against Toronto with the Kawhi shot.
The Kawhi bounce.
And then you allowed, I'm sorry. Why do you have to pay Tobias Harris so much money?
Yeah.
Because the guy you really needed to pay was Jimmy Butler. And unless Jimmy might not, it really wasn't sure if Jimmy was going to stay, but I think if you actually offered him a deal that was right, he would have stayed probably, or there'd been a good chance at staying.
I still don't think Jimmy Butler would have been the difference.
I think Jimmy Butler on that team will get guys like Ben Simmons and Embiid to be professionals. And that year that they were there, I mean, they were good. Like, we didn't think this about Ben Simmons 2 seasons ago.
Right.
Ben Simmons just had to be the distributor, play defense. You got the score and Jimmy Butler and Tobias Harris and your post guy, Joel Embiid,
Right.
All those guys could have been averaging anywhere from 15 to 20 points.
Right.
It was possible. It was there. And, they decided to commit to Tobias Harris and then ultimately commit to Al Horford, which then, backfired for the 76ers. So, not look good. But let's talk about the teams that made it to the conference finals. Game 1 in the Eastern Conference Finals was last night in Milwaukee, and the Atlanta Hawks upset the Bucks in Game 1. Trae Young, 47 points, 11 assists. First player, I believe, in NBA history from the stat that I saw that had a 45 plus point, 10 plus assists game in the conference finals. I'm not sure how accurate that stat is. I feel like someone else could have had that already, but hey, it's still a pretty good stat.
Yeah, that's a good stat right there.
Pretty good stat. Now, this series, what do you think is going to go? We already seen one game so far. We've seen how the Bucks and the Hawks played so far. Where do you think this series is going?
I still think Bucks pull it out, man. Just off of experience. But I could be wrong. You know what I'm saying?
This series,
if Herter has like consistently great games, Hawks might actually pull it out.
And I'm glad you mentioned Herter because Bogdanovich is battling an injury right now, so that's why Kevin Herter is in the rotation more. Cam Reddish is active now.
What, is he back?
He was definitely active for last night's game. I can't remember if he got in the game, but Nate McMillan did say he was going to try and get him in to at least get some minutes and be part of the rotation. So that's just another young talent that can score and run the offense, because Cam Reddish, that was one of his things coming out of college. He was going to be that point forward.
Right.
So another guy that can handle the rock, who can maybe do it with the second unit, even for 3-4 minutes in a game.
Right.
So yeah, man, this is going to be very interesting. Ultimately, I do believe the Bucks are going to win, but I'm not really confident in the Bucks either.
I got you. No, I got you.
Giannis just has to. No matter what happens this summer, Giannis needs to be in that gym working on a jump hook, working on a back to the basket move, working on a fadeaway, something that is not facing you, backing up and running full steam to the basket
with a Euro step.
Yeah, with a Euro or a spin. Because in the postseason, these guys will take the charge.
Oh, for sure.
They're not doing it in the regular season. They'll take the charge though in the postseason.
Yep.
So yeah, he got to do something no matter what. Let's get to the Western Conference Finals. We mentioned last week how Chris Paul finally gets to the Western Conference Finals.
Right.
He's only been in the West, so Western Conference Final. And he gets COVID or is in COVID protocol.
Right.
He misses game 1, even misses game 2. Game 1, no problem. I was about to say Trevor Booker. Devin Booker. I was about to say Trevor Booker and then Corey Booker. And I was like, hold on. Devin Booker drops 40 points game 1, defeat the Clippers with ease. Game 2, though, was really, really close.
Yeah.
Really close. Paul George was playing okay. And then Paul George was playing okay. then the last couple minutes, he got higher. I mean, he got hot.
Yeah.
And I'm sitting there like, okay, this is the playoff P that we've been hearing about. That he, the self-proclaimed playoff P. We saw that for a stretch. Then he had a couple clutch baskets, clutch defensive stops. They then get a defensive stop. Paul George gets fouled, and he quickly reverts to pandemic P because he misses both free throws.
Yeah.
They're only up by 1 point at this point in the game. And then this happens in the game. Very well drawn out play, an alley-oop with time expiring for DeAndre Ayton. It goes in. You had the Clippers team saying it's goaltending. And when I saw it right away, I'm like, no, that's not goaltending. You can't. There's no offensive goaltending on an inbound.
It's a live ball.
You could literally go up there and catch it right above the cylinder and get it and throw it down. It was a really good screen by Devin Booker, very good pass by Jay Crowder, and a great finish by DeAndre Ayton. Then after the game, ESPN, because ESPN, it was on ESPN, they show Monty Williams, the head coach, was mic'd up, and they played what he said right in the huddle. He said, he told him to play that he was going to draw. And he said, but DeAndre, remember, you have to dunk it in the air. Basically reminding him like, yo, you can't catch it, come down and think you're going to put it back up. We don't have enough time.
Right.
You got to throw it down. And people may say, well, of course, DeAndre Ayton's supposed to know that. You'll be shocked how professional athletes really just forget the basics.
Forget the rules.
I mean, we saw it with the Clippers. Think about it. Yeah. It's 0.9 and where they had to inbound the ball. You knew that, hold on, they're going to try and throw an oop. Just stand in front of the basket. Yeah, make them throw the ball over you.
Right.
Or make them have to, and the thing is, they got to respect Devin Booker.
Right.
So they really were going toward him, trying to make sure he doesn't get the inbound pass, because 0.9 is still a lot of time.
Yeah, 0.9 is enough to get a shot off.
And that pass was phenomenal. The execution was great. Clippers had a chance. There was the last second of the game literally took like 5 minutes. Because they had to go through and see how much time was on the clock. Then they had to, figure out, all sorts of stuff.
Figure out which players were on the court.
Yeah. And then they had some substitutions. Ultimately, Paul George had a chance. Well, not really, because when he caught the ball, he was already kind of fading out of bounds. And when he got the shot off, it wasn't good. It wasn't, he didn't get the shot off in time. And ultimately the Suns went up 2-0. Game 3 is tonight. And guess what, BigThad?
What up?
Chris Paul is back in the lineup.
Ooh.
Perfect.
Going to LA. And this is where things get real interesting. Chris Paul is going to face his former team. Now, mind you, a lot of those guys who were on that team are no longer there.
Right.
I understand that. Steve Ballmer had just kind of bought the team and
right.
Took over. But this is Chris Paul's former team. Chris Paul put the Clippers on the map.
Yeah.
Side note, I was in a room on Clubhouse, and the discussion somehow got to Chris Paul and the failed Laker trade. And of course, it was Laker fans who were upset, like, oh my goodness, the league screwed us over with the trade, rescinding the trade. There was even one person who said they did that because they knew Kobe was going to win some more titles and they didn't want him to get more titles than Michael Jordan. And I'm just like, y'all are real delusional. My goodness. Y'all are so delusional.
Don't be rude.
Like, to think that the league really stopped the trade because they didn't want Kobe to be as good in the titles with Michael Jordan. But think about this. And we weren't planning on talking about it, but that trade,
Right.
it really wasn't a good trade for the Hornets.
Oh, of course not. No.
It wasn't a good trade for the Hornets.
And wasn't the NBA running the Hornets at that time?
Yeah, NBA was running the Hornets. So literally all 30 owners or 29 other owners had a stake in the Hornets.
So
they were like, no, we're not about to help the Lakers
Right.
with this lopsided trade. And think about this. A few years earlier, Lakers had another lopsided trade that got Pau Gasol, which helped them get 2 titles.
Right.
The league was like, no. And ultimately, Chris Paul gets traded to the Clippers. And look, lo and behold, Clippers become a destination town. Team.
Right.
And it's because Chris Paul made it work there. But now his exit out of there, he had teammates saying he wasn't a good leader. He's a bad teammate, had a bad personality, ends up get traded to the Rockets.
Yeah.
And they had that, remember that little that fight in the locker room they were about to have when Chris Paul led them through the secret back way.
Yeah.
Yeah, that happened. Well, now Chris Paul gets to face his former team in the Western Conference Finals to make sure that they don't get to the NBA Finals. This is going to be fun. Now, do you think it's done that the Suns are ultimately going to win the series?
Yeah. I think they're gonna win the series for sure. Clippers might get one out of the 2 in LA. I think they split the home match.
Okay.
Yeah, I think Suns just close it out in 5 games.
Yeah, man. I the Suns are really good.
Yeah. And now you bring, as good as they've been playing without Chris Paul, and now you bring Chris Paul back.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's not, and now Booker doesn't have to worry about being point guard.
Yeah, I think that's really the key.
Yeah.
And Cameron Payne.
And don't get me wrong, he's done a great job as point guard in these past 2 games too. But nah, yeah. Chris Paul back.
Whew. Man. Yeah, I think the series is done in 5. I think it's done in 5. Man, other news in the NBA, Rick Carlisle.
Yeah.
He's the new head coach in Indiana.
That was quick.
Very quick.
4 years, $29 million, I think it is.
He said it in his tweet. He was like, he mentioned he was going somewhere else.
Yeah.
He did say that. Now, Rick Carlisle, he has ties to the Pacers, correct?
I'm assuming so.
I feel like, I know he coached in Detroit, but I feel like he was on that staff, or he might have coached them at some point. Let me look up the Wikipedia here.
Yeah, he has some kind of ties to, I don't know, it might be the GM, you know what I'm saying? Could be that. He was the
head coach. Yeah, he was the assistant and the head coach, 2003 to 2007. He was the head coach when the Pistons beat them in the Western Conference Finals. Yes. And then went to Dallas. I know he was with the Pistons.
Mm-hmm.
He leaves the Pistons. The very next year, Larry Brown takes them to the finals, and they face the Pistons in the Western Conference Final. That's that play where Reggie Miller is going for the layup on the fast break, and Tayshaun Prince comes out of nowhere to save the game. You remember that play?
Yeah.
And then he ultimately goes on to Dallas in 2008, and he won that NBA Finals title, but since 2011 hasn't won a single playoff round with the Mavericks. And part of it, I think, is on him, and part of it is the team really wasn't that good. So yeah, but he is going to have Malcolm Brogdon, very good point guard. He is going to have Karis LeVert, Miles Turner, Domantas Sabonis, TJ Warren, DJ, or is it Doug McDermott, not DJ. Doug McDermott.
Doug McDermott.
One of the Holiday brothers, or both? Are both of them on the team? Or two of them on the team?
No, just one.
Just one? I know there's 3 Holidays, but
hold up. Weren't we just talking about a Holiday?
There's Drew on the Bucks, and then there's someone on the Pacers. That's all. There's someone on the Pacers.
That's the two. That's the two brothers. Yeah. They're not on the same team.
So the third one. Where's the third one?
Oh, there's a third one?
Yeah, there's like 3 Holiday brothers.
I thought there was only 2.
I believe there's 3 of them.
Oh man, we'll find out. Hold up.
Let me look that. I believe it's 3 of them in there. There's Aaron Holiday and Justin Holiday.
That's right.
And they are both on the Pacers.
Oh, that's hilarious.
Yeah, they're both on the Pacers. No, I wasn't tripping. I mean, they got a decent team. Hopefully, though, Malcolm Brogdon and those guys actually respect this coach, because Malcolm Brogdon was a big key for Nate McMillan being fired. They gave Nate McMillan an extension, and the next week they fired him. The next week they fired him. And that's why he ultimately ended up being the assistant coach for the Hawks, and then once Lloyd Pierce got fired, became the interim head coach.
Didn't McMillan get fired after winning Coach of the Year or something like that?
Well, he is one of the coaches to be fired with
Toronto, right?
No, that was Dwayne Casey. Yeah, there's a terrible trend. If you're a black head coach,
they look alike.
If you're a black head coach and you win the Coach of the Year, you're fired within 2 to 3 years. Dwayne Casey, it happened to Nate McMillan. It happened to there's another coach that it happened to. It's like 3 or 4 black coaches. But shout out to my boy Donnie Bedney. He mentioned it to me on Instagram and said, hey, kind of interesting that 3 of the head coaches in the conference finals are all black, or 3 of them are black. I said that wrong. You have Nate McMillan, interim head coach of the Hawks, and then in the West, both teams, Tyronn Lue of the Clippers and Monty Williams of the Suns.
Right.
And then there's Mike Budenholzer.
Don't be rude.
Terrible.
And then there's Mike.
Why is what's his name still interim head coach?
Yeah, that's interesting.
How have you like, dog, him becoming coach turned their whole season around. You know what I'm saying? And he's still on the interim tag. Just give it to him. You should give it to him at this point.
Look, I'm being a very wishful thinking Washington Wizards fan and hoping that Nate McMillan ends up being the head coach of the Washington Wizards.
You are fake news.
I don't know if that's going to happen. Wishful thinking with that. Ime Udoka, a former assistant coach of the Nets and the 76ers and the Spurs, is now the head coach for the Boston Celtics. A little bit later, we will talk about this hiring during our, one of our later segments. So we'll get to that real quick before we get out the NBA segment. Los Angeles Lakers. So look, I understand the Los Angeles Lakers franchise. They've won 17 titles. They are the epitome of, of one of the greatest franchises in NBA history. But some of their fans are a little delusional, kind of like the Dallas Cowboys. We can be a little delusional. Not we, or we collectively. I'm not the delusional one.
Perfect.
But we can sometimes
get sure about that.
We can sometimes get delusional as Cowboys fans. The same thing with the Lakers. There's with Damian Lillard talking about he wants out, or hinting that he wants out of Portland. There's a trade that is a trade rumor And listen to the trade. It's a 3-team trade between the Lakers, Trailblazers, and the Cleveland Cavaliers. So listen to this. The Cavaliers are going to send Colin Sexton and Kevin Love to the Portland Trailblazers.
Okay.
Damian Lillard to the Lakers.
Okay.
And the Lakers will send to the Cavaliers Kentavious Caldwell-Pope, Kyle Kuzma,
Nice.
and Alex Caruso.
Well, I mean, he did just get arrested by TSA.
Perfect.
So,
You reminded me of all that. Oh, man.
So, I mean, hey, go for it.
Because the rumor is that the Cavaliers actually like Alex Caruso.
Yeah. He's their was
Dellavedova.
Yes. But a little bit better.
A lot better than Dellavedova, but that's not saying a lot either, to be honest. Not saying a lot either. Look, Alex Caruso is one of those guys that if he played for literally the Washington Wizards, people will say he's a bum.
Yeah, I would assume so.
If he played for the Wizards, he's a bum. Because he plays with the Lakers, it's like, oh, glue guy.
He's had some, I wouldn't say decent games, but I would say exciting moments. You know what I'm saying? He was doing pretty good last season. This season, I don't think so much.
Alex Caruso is an average NBA player.
Yeah,
Perfect.
Yeah.
The way NBA fans, and when I say NBA fans, collectively, not just Laker fans, the way they talk about Alex Caruso is like, this dude is a sixth man, should be starting on a lot of teams, but because it's the Lakers, he's coming off the bench. No, he's an average NBA player who worked his tail off to be on an NBA roster. So I'll give him that.
Right.
But that's about it. and back to the trade. This is the thing. The Lakers seem to always want to give up nothing to get stars. Like, people still complain about giving up Brandon Ingram to get Anthony Davis. And I'm like, well, you thought the Pelicans were going to not take Brandon Ingram? Brandon Ingram was who was supposed to, like, he's the staple of that trade. Like, if anything, the Lakers should be lucky that they didn't take Kyle Kuzma also.
Well, see, a lot of people want them to give Kuzma and keep Ingram.
But that's not possible.
But
like,
it's
what?
not gonna happen. No.
This ain't 2K.
Right.
What? You can't override a trade that way.
Because what? It was Ball, wasn't it?
Ball, Hart, Ingram. And initially the Pelicans wanted Kuzma too with those picks. And they actually negotiated it down where they said, okay, you can keep Kuzma and we'll take the picks. That's how the second first round pick came in.
Wow.
Yeah. So yeah.
So the Lakers are only gonna get Lillard.
Yeah.
That's it.
But my thing is like
nothing else. Not
my
cash,
thing is
no
who
picks.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Does Cleveland really want that trash that y'all putting out there?
I mean, they're giving up Love and Sexton.
Yeah, which I think is terrible because Sexton's the better point guard of any of the guards on their team.
Yeah, because what they got?
Darius Garland, who
Garland, yeah,
not good, not good. And really, Colin Sexton was keeping the team alive for a while,
right?
Until it just got all out of hand. But yeah. Anyways, though, the Lakers. Go ahead.
No, I was gonna say I'm still trying to figure out how is Love on the U.S. national team. Like how did that happen? Did they just need a big man?
He committed, but
did they give just a big man that they needed? Is that what that is?
I don't know, but I don't think it's smart for him because he's been battling injuries. And I know, look, they're professional players. I know you want to play for your country, but if I'm the Cavs, I'm like, bro, you was giving up on the court all through this year. And now you're talking about you're going to take the off season and actually play basketball during the off season. Yeah. Come on.
I mean, they did say the same thing about Blake Griffin, and Griffin was killing it.
I would feel some type of way.
Yeah.
And usually I'm
no
on the player side, but I would feel some type of way.
Oh,
But back
yeah,
to that hypothetical trade. As bad as the trade is, the Lakers seem to always get their way in trades, except the Chris Paul trade. So
right.
I could say it's a terrible trade, and it might very well happen. So
Right.
But yeah, you mentioned Alex Caruso. He was arrested yesterday or 2 days ago.
But I wanted to do hood rat stuff with my friend.
Because for marijuana possession.
Yeah, he had a grinder, and there was a little shake in the grinder, and he got arrested for that.
Yep. He was in Texas.
Just for the grinder. The grinder that had a little bit of shake in it. It's terrible.
What's wild is in Texas, you can have you don't even need a permit anymore to really carry concealed weapons, concealed firearms, but you can't have marijuana paraphernalia.
Right.
You cannot have that.
Hey.
It's wild out here.
They have certain rules in Texas.
It's an evil world we live in.
Oh man. Let's now get to the NFL. Carl Nassib. Do you know who that is, BigThad?
I know he plays for the Raiders, but I can't remember what position. Is he a tight end?
He's a defensive end.
Yeah, that's what it was. The number threw me off, and I was thinking tight end for some reason.
Defensive end. Carl Nassib came out this week as gay. Carl Nassib is the first active NFL player to come out as gay. I saw the post, and I was just kind of scrolling through, and I saw a random white guy just talking, and I just scrolled through on Instagram, and I guess this was literally like 10 minutes after he had posted it, so it was on ESPN on their page, and then another 10 minutes later, I see the post again from someone else. I'm like, well, hold on, what is this? And then I listened to it. I'm like, oh, okay, he's coming out as gay. First, like I said, first active NFL player to come out as gay. Kudos for him because it still is taboo to be gay for a man to be gay in professional sports.
Supposedly he's leading jersey sales right now too.
Well, of course that was going to happen. Just like Michael Sam was leading jersey sales when he came out.
How was he leading jersey sales and he wasn't even on the team?
Well, he was Michael Sam?
Yeah.
Because remember, he was a rookie, so he was drafted, so you could buy his jersey.
Was he actually drafted?
Yeah, he was drafted in the 7th round, though. And that was the controversy. And real quick, Michael Sam, I'm not telling him that he should have hid his life because he shouldn't. No one should.
No one should. But I would have definitely made sure I was on the team and everything. Then you gotta be. It's so weird to try to say
real quick before you go.
He had to be strategic.
Yes, and this world is evil.
Yeah.
It's evil.
Sometimes you got to be strategic in what you do. You know what I'm saying? And that's for anything in general. Sometimes you just got to be strategic about how you do things. You know
and I believe that was what messed up Michael Sam. Now Carl Nassib is in the league. He had a pretty decent season with the Browns. He was a popular guy on HBO's Hard Knocks when they had the Browns.
Who that is.
He was the guy that was giving financial advice to the other players, where he was talking about, save 10% of your paycheck of your salary every year, put it into a I forgot which account he said to put it into. He said, and then 10 years from now it's supposed to be, this amount, and that was something because of compound interest. So he was popular for that. Then he ends up signing with the Bucks and actually has an okay stint with the Bucks for 2 seasons. And then last season was with the Raiders. In 14 games he played, I believe he started in 8 and he had 6 sacks. Good for him to come out and be comfortable. Because let's be real, man. We know how it is when, the social events with the team, most of the players have their wives and girlfriends, and you're just there.
Right.
And you want to share some of these moments with your significant other, and you know that you can't just have another man there. Yeah. It's taboo still. So the fact that he's comfortable enough to say, "Nah, man, this is who I am. I'm gonna live my life." He also he's donating $100,000 to an organization that helps to reduce suicide for children and young adults in the LGBTQ plus community. I think, look, he was already on the roster for the Raiders. It's not like he was a free agent. We do know there's training camp, things like that. Ultimately, I believe he's going to remain on the team at least this season.
I'm sure of it. He's not a terrible player.
He's not a terrible player. Now, I still believe the league is still not in a good place, like the league.
Oh, yeah.
And
that's just what it is. But you know what? I was very surprised at the such positive reactions from other players. That was pretty dope. I was surprised because, you didn't see that with Michael Sam at all.
No, you didn't. And let's be real. A lot has changed since Michael Sam.
Yeah.
A lot has changed.
A lot. How long ago was that?
That was like 7-8 years. That was 2014. So 7 years.
Wow, 7 years. Wow.
Yeah, 2014. Because he was with the Rams. He got cut, and which was wild because do you remember his preseason games?
No, not at all. I didn't watch it.
He had 6 sacks in like 3 preseason games. And he didn't make it.
If you ain't playing against the starters,
6 sacks though.
Yeah,
6 sacks in preseason, and mind you, he was coming off of a co-defensive player of the year in the SEC,
which was questionable by far.
Okay,
a lot of it was very questionable.
The other guy who was the other winner, the co-winner, was CJ Mosley, who got drafted in the first round.
Yeah.
And is still in the league doing his thing.
And you got drafted in the 7th.
And you got drafted in the 7th.
That's what I'm saying, dog. That defensive player of the year was very questionable.
I don't think it was questionable. I just think him coming out before the draft dropped the stock.
Maybe.
I think that's all it was.
But I'm just saying, like, when you watch him play in college, that defensive player of the year was very questionable. You know what I'm saying?
I'm gonna have to go back and look at the film.
It was just questionable.
I'm gonna have to go back and look at the film. Now Michael Sam had some other things that did not go in his favor. Like he partnered with the Oprah Network to document his rookie minicamp. So think about this: you got drafted in the 7th round, and then you got Oprah own network at rookie minicamp. You know how these teams are. They want no distractions.
That's where you went wrong, bro. You were 7th round, yo.
No distractions, and that didn't help.
You wanted to be extra.
Now, ultimately, he gets cut from the Rams. My Dallas Cowboys sign him, and he actually was on the roster. Who got hurt that year? Someone got hurt on the offensive side. Week 1 or week 2, and they ended up signing someone,
and they
needed a roster spot. They cut him, and that was it. And if I remember correctly, whoever they signed ended up being someone that helped them, because that was the year the Cowboys went to the playoffs with Tony Romo in that game where they beat the Lions, and then they lost in Green Bay with the Dez catch, no catch.
Right.
So it was that year. But anyways.
No catch.
Back to Carl Nassib, though. Mm-hmm. Yeah, things are all fine and dandy right now. He's got the support. The league is going to have to really, and the referees going to have to really they're going to have to really officiate a little different with him. And people are going to say, what do you mean? You know for sure someone's going to call him the F word during an NFL game. There's going to be a player who says it. There's going to be a player who will bring up his sexuality at some point on the field.
Right.
And I feel like that is enough for a 15-yard penalty or even an ejection, in my opinion. Mm-hmm. Like, come on, you can't be doing that. It's similar to, if someone said a racial slur to another player on the field. You got to handle that right away. And man, so the league is going to have to officiate things a little different, or not. Let me not say different. They're just going to have to be more mindful,
right,
of what is said and done on the field, especially to him. So yeah, man. But kudos to him for that. Other news in the NFL: Frank Carter was arrested this week. Had an Uzi in his back seat. I'm still not clear about it. Like, was the Uzi just on the back seat, or was it
matter
in
it was a Uzi?
I mean, our Uzis
don't matter.
Well, hold on. Dad, I gotta ask this question, and I don't know. So I'm literally asking this question because I don't know.
Okay.
Can you have a legal permit for an Uzi?
I think depending on what state you're in.
Okay, see, I don't know.
Yeah.
That's the thing.
Depending on, I think it's really depending on what state you're in. But then again, it's a Uzi, so I don't think you're supposed to. You know what I mean? Especially if it's loaded. Yeah.
Yeah, and look, I'm still haven't really read up on too much of it. Maybe I should have, but I'm kind of like,
I don't even know who you're talking about. Anyways,
Frank Carter from the Chiefs, defensive lineman.
Yeah, see, I didn't know.
Really good guy. Really good. Good. When I say
Chiefs,
good, good guy
really,
outside of the gun.
Chiefs really haven't had a defense in a couple of years.
So. But yeah, he. That's the thing. I don't know. So that's why I was asking. Like, can you have an Uzi? I don't.
We'll look into it, folks. We'll look into it, and hopefully next week we'll have an answer for that.
I'm surprised, the NRA didn't come to his defense, and say he has the right to have an Uzi.
Right.
But he didn't have the right.
You better watch out. Talking about the NRA.
He didn't have the right complexion, for defense.
It's an evil world we live in.
Oh man. Jay getting messy now.
Oh man, let's get to Major League Baseball. Week 1 of the enforcement of the new rule, and you've had pitchers fed up. Pitchers are stripping down to their underwear to show umpires that they don't have foreign substances.
Wow.
You had Sergio Romo 2 nights ago, like literally just he saw the umpire walking up to him. He just unbuckled his pants, dropped his pants, and just was like, look, threw his hat and his glove and was like, look, inspect it. Then we had the Nationals with Max Scherzer, where Joe Girardi, the manager of the Philadelphia Phillies, asked the umpires to check Max Scherzer 3 times during the game.
Wow.
Max Scherzer got fed up, did a similar gesture where he opened up his clothes, and then after started barking at Joe Girardi. Joe Girardi said, do you want to go at it? They had to be separated.
Wow.
And yeah, man, the very next day, the Nationals players told the umpires to check Bryce Harper's hair for a foreign substance.
It's getting out of hand.
Bryce Harper laughed it off. He was a good sport about that. But yeah, and talk about that game. Nationals won 11-12 or 13-12.
Oh wow.
That game. Kyle Schwarber, who's on fire for the Nationals, hit a 3-run homer in that game, and the Nationals Twitter account said Kyle Schwarber has more 3-point shots than Ben Simmons made the entire postseason.
Jeez. So messy. Just some, bruh. It's just the internet is undefeated, bruh.
Undefeated.
When it comes to stuff. And I'm sure you saw the picture I sent you. The Shanghai Sharks.
Oh yes, the Shanghai Sharks. Oh man.
Oh, what was it? Simmons, Kuzma,
Simmons,
Joe Harris,
Joe. We didn't talk about Joe Harris, but geez, Joe Harris, my goodness, was non-existent in that finals. I mean, in that postseason. Kyle Kuzma, Kristaps Porzingis, and Rudy Gobert.
Yeah. And then that's undefeated, bro. They're so quick with it, man. They're just so quick with it now. It's great. What else we got with baseball? Anything?
They had a very good series with the Padres and Dodgers. Okay. Playoff atmosphere in San Diego, near sellout crowd. It was really good. There was one video where a Padres fan gave the middle finger to a Dodgers fan when the Padres scored. It just looked so funny. Then there was fights in the stand. And look, this is the thing with everything opening back up again. You know,
people just don't know how to act.
Nah, man, everything is brand new again. Everything is brand new again.
Yeah, it's hilarious.
So yeah, quick hitters. Let's talk about Euro 2020, which is being played right now. You know, it's funny, it's being called the Euro 2020, but you know,
right.
It is what it is because of the pandemic. I watched the Denmark-Russia match. Very good match.
Yeah, that was a good match.
Very good match. And Denmark needed to win by 2 to advance. Denmark scores. And at the very next, like within the same minute, it was another match that was being played. There was a goal which ended up being removed or overturned. And then like that very next minute, Russia ties up the game. So then Denmark has to score, but they score late twice to end up getting the two goal differential to end up moving on. That's one of the cool things about I mean, it's kind of cool with soccer like that. The like goal differential and
those actually come into play. Unlike with hockey, where it's like the goal differential may come into play if there's a tie. But nah, like goal differential, like literally is like key. That's why it's like it's really key that you score multiple goals. Like
yes,
you try to, you know what I'm saying? Yeah, you get a point for a draw or whatever, but when it comes to these group plays like this, goal differentials come into play because it could put you into the next round or not. You know what I'm saying?
So yeah, that was a very good match. I believe England is moving on. Who are some other teams moving on, BigThad?
Very good question because
I wasn't prepared. That's why I asked you.
I wasn't prepared either. But I just wasn't preparing myself because of work, man. Usually I'll just have it on TV, but work got me busy, man. But Denmark, Wales, Italy, Australia, Netherlands, Czech Republic, Belgium, Portugal, Croatia, Spain, France, Switzerland, England, Germany, Sweden, Ukraine.
Okay.
And I didn't realize I was also announcing in that order of who's playing who.
Oh.
I just now realized that when I did it. But yeah. So it's gonna start back up on Saturday. Wales, Denmark at noon, Italy, Australia at 3, and then Sunday at 12, Netherlands, Czech Republic, and then at 3, Belgium, Portugal. And then that following Monday, Croatia and Spain, France and Switzerland. at 12 and 3 respectively. And Tuesday, England versus Germany. I think that's gonna be a pretty good matchup. And at noon, and Sweden versus Ukraine for the Queen. Anyway.
Okay. We didn't get to talk about this during the NBA segment, so let me bring it up. The NBA draft lottery was the other night. Top 4 picks: number 4, Toronto Raptors; number 3, Cleveland Cavaliers; number 2, Houston Rockets; and number 1, winning the draft lottery, the Detroit Pistons. The Minnesota Timberwolves lost their draft pick because it was a top 3 protected. So the Golden State Warriors get the 7th and the 14th pick. Also, the Oklahoma City Thunder got a pick from someone else. I can't remember who that team.
Wasn't that the trade from the Houston trade? Or was that the that was the Al Horford trade to Boston.
Was that part of it?
That's what that pick came from, yeah.
Also, Orlando got the Bulls. The Bulls lost their.
Orlando,
yep,
yeah.
That was the other team that got a pick, for an extra pick, and the Bulls lost their draft pick because it was top 3 protected. Also, in the NBA, also Kemba Walker got traded. I forgot to talk about that. Kemba Walker got traded to the Oklahoma City Thunder, and return of the Celtics would get Al Horford and some other random player. So yeah, man. Yep.
I don't know how Al Horford. First of all, I don't understand how Al Horford's still in the league, for one. And then 2, they just must love him in Boston.
Yep. I mean, I guess he played okay. It's just,
but they shut him down because
they shut him down.
Yeah,
that
was just weird to me that they just shut him down for the rest of the season. Like, you would have thought they would have traded him by then, and they were just like, "No, we're gonna just let the season go. Don't hurt yourself."
Let's now get to our champ and chump of the week. Celebrate those who do well.
Wow, winning.
And criticize those who don't.
Loser! You're a loser! Are you feeling sorry for yourself? Well, you should be, because you are dirt!
It's our champ.
Let's go, champ!
And chump.
Now this guy's a chump.
Of the week.
Okay.
Yep. Got
okay.
Got some new production value to this.
Okay. Spending some production dollars. You know what I'm saying? Wow.
Using Adobe Creative Cloud, learning everything.
Okay.
So yeah, BigThad, who is your champ of the week?
Rick Carlisle.
Baby, want a champ.
Yeah, man. I can't be mad at him. First of all, the Mark Cuban says we're not gonna take any money from you, and so we'll just let everything go, and so it won't mess up any future things that you have going on. And then next you know, he's coach of the Pacers again.
Perfect.
Can't be mad at him.
Can't be mad at him.
He's a champ this week.
My champ of the week has to go to the Atlanta Hawks.
Baby, want a champ.
I mean, they get into the Eastern Conference Finals behind Trae Young's performance and the other young cast that they have. They've also won their first game in a conference final in Atlanta history. Yeah. Last time they won a game in a conference final or finals was when they were the St. Louis Hawks with who was their star player, BigThad?
Then?
Yes. Come on. Trivia question here. Who was the star player when they won a title?
In St. Louis.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, man. It ain't Dominique. So. I probably know, but it's gone past my head right now.
It is Bob Pettit.
Yeah, I definitely wouldn't know that.
Yep. Bob Pettit. So the Atlanta
You
Hawks.
said like Pistol Pete? Yeah, okay, got you.
Atlanta Hawks are my champ of the week. Big Thad, who is your chump of the week?
The Australian sensation himself, Ben Simmons.
Because you're a chump.
Oh man, do you need to elaborate on that, Big Thad?
Nah, I was gonna say, like we can't pick on mental issues or anything like that, but yeah, yeah, I can't. He's just terrible right now, all because of himself. That's it.
Well, last week I had Ben Simmons as my chump of the week last week, and then he got even worse. Worse. I mean, and it was just like I could give it to him again. I could, but someone else did something ridiculous in sports. Jay Williams.
Because you're a chump.
See, that's what happens when you go to Duke.
Do you know what happened with Jay Williams, Big Fan?
Not again. Not this time. What's this one about?
Jay Williams, tweeted something, and this was right after Ime Udoka was hired as the head coach for the Boston Celtics. This is what he tweeted in response. He said, "The first head coach of color for the Celtics put up the black fist. And even more importantly, he is one talented individual who has paid his dues." Clapping emojis. Thaddeus, do you see the problem with that tweet?
It seems sarcastic to me.
The tweet is false because there's been plenty of black head coaches for the Boston Celtics. Just recently, Doc Rivers.
Yeah.
But more importantly, the first black head coach in major sports was Bill Russell.
Yeah.
For the Boston Celtics.
Well, they all had oh man, what's his name? He won a couple championships for them.
Casey Jones.
Casey Jones, yeah.
ML Carr. ML Carr. And there's even someone else that another black man that coached the team. So if he got slandered on Twitter, and then he
don't know no better, yo.
And then he said, "Well, I didn't." He said, "I didn't write that tweet." Mind you, he didn't say my account was hacked.
He said, "I didn't write the tweet."
He said, "I didn't write that tweet."
So somebody wrote it for you. You obviously told him to type. So yeah, you still fail, sir.
Yep.
Because you want to Duke. That's
why. So Jay Williams, a lot of bad choices in life, my friend. Is the chump of the week.
Because you're a chump.
Might as well call him the Batman of the week too.
Let's now get into our sports free zone. Big Thad. Let the viewers know about J'Ouvert. What is J'Ouvert?
So J'Ouvert is a Caribbean culture party during Carnival or celebration of Carnival. So, besides us in Grenada, Trinidad, Carnival, the carnivals that happens all over the world. So like London, Barbados, Toronto, Miami, Rio, Brazil. You know what I'm saying? We part of our culture. It's also if you want to know in the U.S. terms, Mardi Gras. It happens the same time. That's the start of our carnival season. Is when Mardi Gras starts. So J'Ouvert is one celebration that we have, and you have to experience it to really, really understand what J'Ouvert is about.
The historical significance of J'Ouvert. It was back when, especially in Trinidad, back when there was still slavery in Trinidad, the slave owners, they celebrated Carnival, and of course the slaves could not. and especially they could not do it during the normal times. For example, a lot of the carnival activities used to be at night or during the day. Well, the slave owners allowed the slaves to have a short period of their celebration, and their period was in the early morning before sunrise, and they had it from before sunrise to a little bit after. Historically, it was about 7, 8, 9 in the morning.
Yeah.
And during that time, the slaves, because the slave masters or the slave owners used to actually mock the slaves in their carnival celebration. So the slaves during J'Ouvert, which means in Creole, basically break of dawn or along those lines, during J'Ouvert for the slaves, they decided to mock the slave owners. And then once slavery was abolished in Trinidad, the slaves, or now the black population in Trinidad, became they were able to participate in carnival, and to the point that they took over carnival. And here we are with Trinidad. Trinidad is the second largest carnival in the world, only behind Rio. And it is along the it is in February, the same day as Mardi Gras. It falls in line with the Catholic Lent schedule, correct then?
Yes, correct.
It's right before Lent. And so there is some religious aspects and cultural aspects. Well, Michael B. Jordan is coming out with a rum, and Black Twitter found out that he was coming out with this rum due to Lori Harvey.
I don't know if it's Black Twitter.
It was Black Twitter.
Black Twitter don't know nothing about J'Ouvert.
Perfect.
It's not that they don't know. It's they found out about the trademark.
Right. They seen the trademark.
Well, and they found out because Lori Harvey posted something on social media where she had this rum. It said J'Ouvert. Of course, Black Twitter was like, J'Ouvert rum. Like, so they looked it up and realized that Michael B. Jordan had the trademark for J'Ouvert rum. And he had the trademark, and it was him and his business partner. Come to find out, the business partner does have one of the business partners does have a rum bar in New York. It's Last Lap. You ever heard of it? I've heard of it before.
I think I've heard of it before. Yeah.
It's in New York, and it's like a Caribbean fusion restaurant rum bar. And yeah,
so he knew.
So the business associate is the one that knew. Now the person whose name is actually on the trademark is the lawyer, though. The lawyer is a white man, which got a lot of people on Black Twitter hot because they're like, look here, first of all, J'Ouvert is a Black Caribbean cultural moment, cultural activity, and here we are, a white man owns the trademark. Then there was confusion about, was the trademark J'Ouvert rum or was the trademark actually the word J'Ouvert? I've seen two different trademark documents, and one says it's for the word J'Ouvert and one says it's for J'Ouvert rum, so that caused a lot of confusion. Black Twitter and other parts of social media, because even on Clubhouse they were talking about it. Trinidadians were talking about how they were upset with Michael B. Jordan. You did have a few who were saying, look, this might be a great opportunity for Michael B. Jordan to really partner with the West Indies, because a lot of the islands follow J'Ouvert. As more digging came, none of the proceeds were actually going to go to really any Caribbean island or people of color. And then it came to find even more information came out, and the partnership is with Bacardi, which is an American, formerly Cuban rum, now American. So it wasn't even going to any of the island, wasn't going to like Trinidad or Grenada or any of those West Indian islands. So he got a lot of heat for that. Well, Nicki Minaj, who's from Trinidad, said her piece and said and asked that Michael B. Jordan change the name of his rum. Michael B. Jordan decided to change the name, and he'll be coming up with another name.
He's gonna rebrand.
Going to rebrand. Now, Thad, did you have a problem with the actual name J'Ouvert Rum?
Not really, but I did kind of question how did he even know about J'Ouvert? Like just the name J'Ouvert. That's what was going on my mind in regards to that. And now I know how he found out because of his partner who has a Caribbean. He obviously has some either Caribbean roots or he's experienced Caribbean culture.
Yeah, the business partner is either from Trinidad or his parents are from Trinidad. So he has his ethnicity is Trinidadian. So, but the thing that really got a lot of people hot was seeing that white guy's name on the trademark, because it said that he was the owner of the trademark. And that's the thing with a lot of these companies, these business adventures. There's always a celebrity face, but then you find out, you're like, yo, this celebrity doesn't really own like they don't really own it, and it's someone else.
Yeah, because they're getting paid. It's like Trump. Like it's like Trump in the Trump hotels. He don't own none of that. He literally doesn't own any of that. He's just a face.
Same thing with
he's the name of the brand.
Same thing with Ciroc. Diddy, it's known as Diddy's vodka, but Diddy doesn't own really a sizable stake in it. So,
not at all.
That happened. So Michael B. Jordan's going to rebrand. Now, someone mentioned this on Clubhouse. They said they weren't really offended by the name being J'Ouvert Rum. Right. They did wonder, did Michael B. Jordan have ties to the Caribbean? And that's come out. Michael B. Jordan said, no, his family's not from the Caribbean. And he said, really, is my business partner who's from there. And Michael B. Jordan wanted to come out with a rum a few years ago with Bacardi. Right. And it failed. So this is another attempt at that. And he said, look, I'm not really offended by the name or the fact that they're using J'Ouvert on an alcoholic beverage. He was like, really, though, the marketing was terrible because Lori, what's her name?
Is it Lori Harvey?
Yeah, Lori Harvey really botched it because Michael B. Jordan was sending it to his celebrity friends to have it tested out. And then, and I'm literally taking a marketing class right now. And that's something I was learning over the last couple of weeks. When it comes to starting something, you kind of want to have a test. You want to have a test market.
Yeah. No doubt about that.
Put your product out, right, and then have them try it, and if they like it, then you get people within that market to promote it, and you want your first market to be other celebrities, right? So it could kind of feel exclusive, and unfortunately, though, Lori Harvey released it way before they were even ready. Wow. So that's how the public even found out about it. So yeah, man, it was not good for Michael B. Jordan, and at the end of the day, you find out that he's not even West Indian, and it's really the business partner.
I kind of knew he wasn't West Indian.
I knew that too, but
but the fact that it's not, it's just a brand that he's involved in.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying? That's all it is. Like people always, you know what? And the thing is, I think a lot of them also were like, yo, this is Michael B. Jordan's rum. It's his rum, or like Diddy's rum. And like, yo, he doesn't own none of that. Black Twitter, stop it.
Yeah. So, other news, we mentioned last week, Juneteenth.
Yeah.
The holiday passed by. Did you do anything on Juneteenth, BigThad?
Oh yeah. I did my paper for school.
The one you told me about. Yep. Let's not get into
the one that I took my Thursday night, my all day Friday, and my all day Saturday to submit on time, and Once I submit, I see a notification saying I extended the date.
It's an evil world we live in.
Back to the original date.
Oh man.
So blown. And now I'm sitting here waiting because the end of the course is Tuesday coming.
Mm-hmm.
And he still hasn't returned grades yet. So I got a wedding tomorrow. So there goes my Friday. So now I'm waiting for him to come back. And so Saturday, hopefully I have Saturday and Sunday and Monday and Tuesday in case I have to do anything to get a better grade. So you know how that goes.
Yep. Ikea in the news.
Let's go, IKEA.
IKEA. I love IKEA. Like, I love going to IKEA. I love getting ideas for rooms in IKEA. Do not get any of their like wood dominant furniture because it's just gonna warp in like 2-3 years and you have to buy it again. Trust me, I've bought a couple things that look good, and about 3 years later, I had to go get another one. But anyways, though, IKEA. Many of you all may know or may not know, IKEA, in all IKEAs, there's a concession stand. There's that concession stand and a restaurant in all IKEAs.
It's always the glizzies. The glizzies or the meatballs from them.
Yes, so the concession stand has the hot dogs. I think it's two. You get two for $1.
Yeah,
two for $1. Yeah. Or at least the last time I went there, two for $1. Sodas are like something like 30 cents or 40 cents. You get a Cinnabon for like $1 too. You could be full on $4 there. And then they have the restaurant where they have like Scandinavian food and then also just other cultural food. The restaurant is actually decent for a place that doesn't specialize in food. Like, like it's a furniture store that has a restaurant, but my understanding is in the Scandinavian region, like Sweden? A lot of their stores are like that. Or Sweden. Yeah. Well, I didn't know. I couldn't remember which country, if it was Sweden or if it was Denmark. But so that's why it's a Scandinavian.
I think it's a little both.
It's Sweden. Yeah, you're right. That's
Sweden.
why it's blue and yellow. Didn't remember which one it was though.
Oh shit!
American geography right there, education right there. But yeah, so they're known for their little restaurant. I've gone there a couple times. You know, you go there to shop and you're like, well, I might as well get something to eat. And it's decent. And this is coming from someone who hates, it's not buffet style. They actually serve you. They have a full wait staff. And this is coming from someone that's very picky about eating out. Like, I just don't go everywhere and eat out. So I think it's good. Well, and a report came out from the New York Post. And Atlanta IKEA has sparked outrage with what employees are calling an intensively problematic menu curated to celebrate the holiday Juneteenth, which marks the emancipation of the very last enslaved Americans. Quote, to honor the perseverance of Black Americans and acknowledge the progress yet to be made, we observe Juneteenth on Saturday, June 19, 2021. Begins an email acquired by TMZ, which was sent to employees at the branch last week. I had to move the phone up closer. Quote, look out for a special menu on Saturday, which will include fried chicken, watermelon, mac and cheese, potato salad, collard greens, and candy yams.
Ain't nothing wrong with that.
The selection included items that have been historically been used to demean African Americans through stereotyping, resulted in multiple employees calling out of work in the protests, according to local news channels. So I'm on Instagram where I saw this, and I see a lot of comments from Black people because you can see by their profile pics.
Right.
Said, who doesn't like watermelon and fried chicken?
Right. I don't care. I don't care if that's been historically like stereotype thing. if it's good, it's good. You're gonna eat it. Like, stop. We need to stop that. I think the only problem they had was the fact that there was watermelon on the menu more than anything else. Because nothing about that menu seemed bad. Now, if you taste it and it's bad, that's a whole nother thing.
Yeah, that's a whole nother thing.
You know what I'm saying? Because, like me, I don't eat collard greens from just anybody.
True.
You know what I'm saying? So, like, I specifically, because me and greens ain't been good friends over the years. You know what I'm saying? So collard greens, like, I've had some friends make some and been great. You know what I'm saying? Some of our family has been great. But there's other places, other folks, they're like, ugh, what's this? Like, oh. So it really depends. And hopefully the watermelon was sweet. You know what I'm saying?
So, and look, I'll acknowledge this. You know, I understand the stereotypes that come with, you know, fried chicken, watermelon, collard greens, and sweet potatoes, and all of that. I understand that. They tried.
I bet it was good. I bet it was good.
Because it's in Atlanta, I would assume it's good. Because you would have someone who would know how to do soul food in Atlanta. Hopefully, you did it the right way.
Look,
but also, you know,
probably a black manager who did this too. You know what I'm saying?
Know.
It probably was. Like, you could be mad all you want. It was a black manager that did it probably.
I personally,
because I'm sure, unless, you know what, Ikea, their management of that Atlanta one, I'm sure they asked. They had to ask. I don't think they just randomly just put
well, I don't know if they asked.
I think they asked. I think they asked.
The
it was
way
probably newer employees anyways, too. But then again, it was a brand new federal holiday, too, so hey, they had to go special. But that menu didn't sound bad to me.
Look, I will admit this. We are not American descendants of slaves. So
no.
That's maybe why I don't feel on this specific aspect, don't feel too offended by this. Cause I'm kind of like, yo, if the food is at peak level, that sounds like a bomb menu.
that sounds like a sweet deal to me. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And it's Ikea, so you know it ain't that expensive.
but I can understand why someone else would be offended. I understand.
That's true.
Why someone else might be offended.
This is not one black issue that us Caribbean folks don't worry about.
Yeah, we kind of would have just
we brushed that to the side. we brushed that to the side.
Now here's something though, and that's the thing with emails, you don't know you can't feel the like context of way it's felt.
Right.
Like you know, I remember someone tweeted how they were like something along, and it's a tweet, it was a joke, I assume. And it's a little different, but it's similar in a way. The guy said how this white woman says, like they were joking about something, and she said, what the bumba clot? And the tweet was, yeah, I went straight to HR because I was like, this white woman should not be saying this, you know, at work. So like, I understand stuff like that where you're just like, like what? Like, what's wrong with you? I don't know, man. This one, I'm not too offended on this
not at all. Not at
me
all.
personally,
Not
but
at
I'm
all.
not going to sit here and say someone else shouldn't be offended.
Right.
Yeah. Trick Daddy.
I'll be the messy one. I'll tell them y'all shouldn't be offended for this.
Trick Daddy in the news. Trick Daddy was on Clubhouse.
He want all the smoke.
And he was on there with some people and said that, yeah, Beyonce can't really sing. And Jay-Z is not the greatest rapper alive, nor was he ever the greatest rapper at any given point. And he said that New York, because it's the quote unquote Mecca of hip hop, they had to give the title to someone to preserve their Mecca.
Wow. He wanted all the smoke.
So one of those statements are true. Which one do you think it is? Which one do you think it is?
Man.
The one that's true is the New York trying to give the title to somebody from New York.
Yeah, they would definitely. There's no doubt about it. New York will always give it to a New York rapper.
Man. And then he had some interesting things where he said, yeah, and that's why New York ain't had good rappers since blah blah blah. Now, of course, the Bayhive heard what was said on Clubhouse, which is already an exclusive app when you think about it. You got to be invited to get onto Clubhouse.
Right.
I don't even think there's 500,000 users yet. I don't even think it's that many people on Clubhouse. Well, the Bayhive found his personal phone number, has been blowing up his phone, also found his restaurant online and started giving bad reviews online to drop his rating within hours.
Jeez.
A whole number lower.
Jeez. You wanted to smoke, Trick.
Yeah, man. And then people like, yo, you haven't done anything since Trina left you.
Oh.
And let me find hopefully man. I think I have this tweet. I'm gonna try and find it real quick, but people were coming for him. Is he like sick, or does he have like a illness or something?
I don't know. I haven't really been following Trick in a long time.
Someone said that he has an illness or something. I don't know, man.
They must have seen it. He must. I don't know. I haven't seen Trick in a while. So if he's like really, really skinny, then I'm sure they're saying he's sick.
Well, he's not skinny, but I think someone. So this is what I heard.
But then again, Trick is old, y'all. Like
He is old.
he's old. He ain't no young dude.
This is what I heard. I heard that Trick Daddy has lupus. And look, I don't know much about lupus.
Me either. I think I know like two people that have lupus.
I honestly thought lupus was something that like
that only Nick Cannon
women
had?
only had.
Stop talking about Nick Cannon like that.
I thought so. But this is what someone had to say about Trick Daddy. And I mean, it's a little interesting. That's why I'm gonna play it here for you all, so you all can hear what was said about Trick Daddy.
And the more you lie on me, the more your face is gonna felt like an old chocolate brownie on a hot Miami sunny day. You talking about I look like shit, and shit look like it should be your first name. Front and center on your birth certificate. Name, shit, manure, young doodle. You had the OG Snoop Dogg come down to Miami coming to Sundays thinking he patronizing your restaurant. And that ain't even your restaurant, Trickiana. That's E-Class Restaurant, the CEO of Po' Boy Entertainment. And that's why you telling people to unfollow me on my social sites, because I'ma spit the real. Tell the truth why you said you're gonna do everything in your power to keep me off the show. Somebody you claim that nobody knows. You afraid I'ma sabotage your reputation with them fake ass storylines y'all got going on. Let me tell your old stale dog biscuit face ass something. You and your 5-sagging chin. If you and that Christmas tree on top of your head keep me in your mouth, I'ma have a field day roasting your ass. And boy, don't you ever talk about somebody having some shitty breath with them old ass Coke 45 beer cans attached to your gums. Fool, you should be the shitty shake mascot or logo. With all that aluminum in your grill, your mouth should have COVID-19. 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25. Nigga, you should have a contract with all the local garbage companies. Your mouth make dumpster juice. And you love calling me broke. But bitch, why you over there on Bigo like the everyday average ass Joe? I thought you said you was getting money over there on Love and Hip Hop Miami. Oh, you wanted some of that shield, dragon, and yacht money, huh? Nigga, get off the gas. You struggling like everybody else during the pandemic. Always looking like somebody hit you in the face with a bag of mixtape CDs. With that ugly ass hairline looking like a grizzly bear slap the shit out of you. Bitch, you be on national TV with funeral makeup on, trying to hide all them goddamn craters and liver spots in your face. Supreme Domino pizza face ass nigga. Boy, your face would spoil my appetite. I wouldn't dare dare eat round you. You a full grown ass man trying to create a hairline with black spray. Fuck wrong with you. Let me tell your first place casket ready looking ass something. You and the Gulf of Mexico tattooed in front of your forehead need to have several seats with your two-tone face and neck ass. That liver spot on your face look like somebody took a cigarette and put it out on your forehead. And I'm getting sick and tired of this little Pepe Le Pew mustache. If you don't get that Smitty bullshit off your face, alopecia rata thinning hair ass nigga, always talking about somebody and looking like the shit emoji. Oh no.
So that was courtesy of
Wow.
Who was that? It was the person on Twitter. It was from Lonnie Said on Twitter. And actually it's from someone else. It's from Lady Lex 30. She posted it originally on Twitter. So yeah.
Wow.
And that photo was from when he got arrested fairly recently. And
I was about to ask you where that photo came from. I'm like, geez. The whole time saying, I'm like, look at that hairline, bro.
Yeah, man.
Whew.
Yep.
Yeah,
That'll wrap it up
folks.
here for our sports free zone. Let's now get to our Reddit topic of the week. We go to Reddit, find something interesting to discuss. This one is about NBA champions that were underdogs going into the regular season. Quite a few of them. And it is from Recovered Reviewer on Reddit. If the Suns or Hawks won the championship this year, they would be the biggest preseason underdogs to win a title in over 30 years. Basketball Reference has preseason title odds for every champion dating back to 1985. Here are the biggest underdog title teams in that time span. Thad, I'm going to give you chances to name as many of them until you get 3 of them wrong. So what is a team that you think that you can think of that won an NBA title and was a huge preseason underdog? So you get as many chances until you get 3 wrong.
Okay. Toronto Raptors.
Yes, 2019. Ding. Correct. That's one.
Man, this is tough, yo.
It's not as tough when you think about it.
It's probably it's probably not as tough. Detroit Pistons.
Yeah, that is one. What year?
Ben Wallace and them.
Yeah, that's on there. So you got 2 of them.
How many are there?
There is 1, 2, 3, 4,
Okay, so it's about
5,
right.
6, 7 that are left on the list.
Okay. No, they haven't won a championship yet. Not San Antonio.
Which year? There are 2 San Antonio teams on here.
Oh, geez.
Which years are they?
Duncan's rookie year.
So that's 1 strike.
Okay. The last one they did. The last one they had.
That is correct. 2014. So there's 1 more San Antonio year out there.
Big Shot Bob year. 90. Was that 90s? No.
That's wrong.
No.
So you have 2 strikes, 1 more strike.
Oh, man.
And remember, there are still 1, 2,
I thought I'd get away with
3.
I thought I'd get away with 2 of those.
4, 5 other ones.
Dallas Mavericks.
That is correct. That's 1. You got it correct.
Miami, the first one with Wade.
That is incorrect. So that's 3 strikes. The ones that you missed. 2015 Golden State Warriors.
They were underdogs that season.
They were underdogs that year.
Oh, wow.
Leading into the regular season.
Okay.
They were really big underdogs going into that year.
Okay.
The 1994 Houston Rockets.
I thought about them.
This one is a shocker when you think about it. It makes sense though. The 2008 Boston Celtics. Even after the trades before the season, the one question everyone said is, well, who's going to be on that bench? You got a lot of older veterans, but who's going to be on the bench?
Right.
And the question was, who is this Rajon Rondo who had a bad rookie year?
Right.
And, you know, the rest is history. This one's another shocker. The 1991 Chicago Bulls.
I thought about that. I
And
honestly was going to say Chicago, but I couldn't think of what year.
And the reason why they were underdogs was after 90, it was kind of like, yeah, the Bulls will never get it done.
Right.
Which is so weird because then the Bulls and Michael Jordan they win 6 of the next 8.
Right.
But it was like that 90, that game 7 where Scottie Pippen has the migraine, and it's like they're just getting to Michael, and going into the season, like, yeah, they're not going to win. And the one that you missed out on,
the San Antonio, what year?
2003 San Antonio Spurs.
Okay.
The last year with David Robinson.
Makes okay.
Yep. So yeah, man. Oh,
that was what, season 4 for Duncan?
Season. He was drafted in
97.
He was drafted in 98.
98.
So season 5.
Yeah.
And he had already won his second title.
Right.
In 5 seasons. The Suns were plus 4,000 to win a title in the preseason, and the Hawks were plus 10,000. Jeez.
That's crazy.
Meaning, was it every 100 that you put down, every 100 that you put the bet, you would have got 4,000 if the Suns were to win the finals this year. And for the Hawks, for every 100 you put down on the bet, you get $10,000.
That's crazy.
This is the stuff where you're like, man, I should start gambling, because you're like, man. But unfortunately, some of us don't have just disposable income to just throw a couple $100 down on a bunch of teams and hope one of them hits. Because usually people who do this are people who are like idiots. And they're like, yeah, my favorite team is the Suns. I'm about to go put money on them. And it works out. Or they have so much money that they end up just spreading it around, and then they ultimately get a little bit in return. Because at least one of them hit.
Right.
So yeah. I think what one bet I'm gonna do is take a Washington football team and basically give them the under.
Perfect.
Because they're just always that always happens. So I'll do the under. That's one of the safest bets in sports. Just take the under on the Washington football team.
Perfect. Thank you.
Easy money there. Easy money there. Oh man. Oh,
I seen this one thing. They were like, yo, if Aaron Rodgers goes to the Washington football team, does that make them an automatic contender for the championship?
That makes them a very good contender.
I was like, wow, y'all say automatic?
That's a very good contender.
Right. I'm like, yo, y'all got a lot of faith.
I mean, Washington has a very good defense.
Yeah.
And they got help on offense.
Yeah.
And they got an upgrade at quarterback, but then they would get a super upgrade with Aaron Rodgers if possible. Yeah. So that would be interesting. BigThad.
Yes, sir.
I want to thank you for everything that you do.
Thank you, Cuzzo.
Shout out to OSS 980. We're Harold D. Aaron Jeff. Shout out to Soggy Nachos. Shut Your Face. Real quick, something that was said on Shut Your Face, their last episode. Who's the better basketball player, Wes Unseld or Chris Webber?
Ooh.
I'm shocked that you're like thinking this one through.
I am thinking it through. I mean, they're both very good.
And the thing with these,
let's go. I'm gonna go with West just because it's got a championship here.
the thing with the saying who's the better player, are we talking about just like sheer like talent and attributes, or are we talking about the total package? If you're talking about the total package, you got to go with Wes Unseld because he is one of the 50 greatest NBA players of all time. But if you're just talking about gifts and attributes, got to go Chris Webber. He's a better shooter, better, probably a better scorer and a better distributor.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, man. So that was something that was discussed on Shut Your Face for a quick minute. Shout out to Guys Unpacked podcast, What the F is Happening podcast, with Derek. Also, shout out to Curls and Sports podcast with Erica Fernandez. Also, shout out to Carita Parks and Grady Diaz, women who have been on the podcast fairly recently. Shout out to all of our faithful listeners out there. Just want to remind you all to subscribe to the podcast where podcasts are available. That includes Anchor, Apple, iHeartRadio, Spotify, Stitcher, TuneIn. You can also watch us on YouTube, Facebook, and Twitch for the live stream and for the replay. Like, subscribe, leave a review, share the podcast so we can grow and reach more people. As soon as things get better, and when I say as soon as things get better, maybe sometime next year, because I have no faith in this community. The way people are acting. We'll do a live show somewhere, but things gotta be a whole lot better for us to do a live show. Yep. Anything else, Big Thad, before we get out of here?
Nah. Actually, I meant maybe I'll just ask you off air. I was gonna ask you if y'all did a certain thing, you know what I'm saying, but. I'll ask you off there.
Okay.
It's so much easier. Just
all right. Until next time, everyone. Sports Reality. Peace.
Peace.
All the models to the floor right now. All the models to the floor right now. All the models to the floor right now. All the models to the floor right now.